CLC Stage 8 Grammar Screencast 2018-19 version. In this chapter screencast, we're going to be covering adjectives. We've talked about nouns. Now we're going to talk about the adjective, which is paired closely with the nouns and formed very well the exact same. Plus, we'll also talk about prope plus the accusative near phrase. We'll talk about adjectives and superlatives, and we'll talk about relative adverb clauses. So let's start. Nouns. As we can see, the nouns are what we mastered from Latin chapter 1. First, second neuter. And as I alluded to earlier, first declension nouns are generally feminine, second declension masculine, second neuter always, well, neuter. As you can see in the adjectives that are listed here, for first and second declension adjectives are also called three termination adjectives, as well as first and second declension adjectives, also three termination adjectives. They have the exact same forms as silwa, hortus, bellum. Now, for some nouns will end in er for the nominative. This would be found with nostra, noster, nostrum, just like it would be puer. But other than that, they're the exact same as first, second, and second neuter noun declensions. An adjective modifies a noun based on gender, number, case, and we'll talk about that in a second. So straightforward, singular accusative here, obviously, simple form number 3. So let's talk about adjective and noun. Adjectives modify nouns. That means they pair up based on three things: gender, number, and case. Adjectives do not have to be anywhere near the noun they modify. They just have to agree in gender, number, case. First declensions are feminine. Second declensions are masculine. And then neuter, of course, is neuter. There are some exceptions that you need to know, which is abbreviated or is acronym of PPAIN. Poeta, pirata, agricola, incola, and nauta are all first declension, but they're masculine. Poets, pirates, farmers, serfs, and sailors. They're first declension nouns, but they're still masculine. So what would it look like when we analyze? Well, first we start with mansit, but because the V sucks, you see it's a perfect. Simple past active actual plus subject. He remained. Prope, new phrase we've learned today. Prope means near. Prope plus the accusative. Notice both forum and magnum are both accusative, neuter singular. Therefore, they are constituents or part of the near phrase, near the large forum. Adjectives modify nouns based on gender, number, case. The ending may be the same if it's a first, second, or second neuter noun, but sometimes third declension nouns, or oftentimes third declension nouns are used, so therefore don't just think the ending has to be the same. Both have to be analyzed separately. Casa est, so we have an equational phrase, the house is, and then we have the adjective prepared. So remember, even in an equational phrase, adjectives have to modify nouns in gender, number, case. Casa, nominative, feminine, singular. And parata, the adjective form, would be the correct answer for the equational. All right, let's talk about adjectives and the superlative. Adjectives and the superlatives have the same endings. A, us, There's different degrees of the adjective. The adjective degree is similar to a fan, high, medium, low. So good, better, best. This is the superlative form. Generally speaking, you form it off the stem, infixed esim, and then the endings that you would see throughout. Us, And it means very or the most. So as you can see in the adjective forms, they look just like the nouns and just like the adjectives. Now, the positive degree of the adjective is what's listed in the glossary. The superlative has that esim. So you could have a learned book or a doctissimi libri, very learned books or book. All right. Positive degree, errata, angry, erratissima, very angry. Notus, famous. Notissimus, very famous. Lightum, happy. Lightissimum, very happy. Pulcher, beautiful. Pulcherimus, very beautiful or handsome. Bonus, optimus. Now, please note some uh, degrees of the adjective are irregular, just like in English. Good, better, best. Good, gooder, goodest. So some of them are a little irregular. We'll pick those up in time. So we have a nice analysis here. We start with the verb when it, third singular, present indicative active, simple present active, actual plus subject. He, she, or it comes. This is sexist. It should say s/he/it. Odd plus the accusative limit phrase. But it's not just montem, which is accusative masculine singular. It's also altissimum. So remember, adjectives modify nouns based on gender, number, case. The ending doesn't mean that they have to be the same. This is accusative masculine singular, so is altissimo. So the Myrmidon was very brave. So we have fortis, which is strong, but obviously we're dealing with very brave, so it's fortissimus. And finally, relative adverb clauses. A clause is a verb and everything with it. Dependent clauses or subordinate clauses would be the relative adverb clause, where the entire clause functions as an adverb. Very exciting. And these words that start the relative adverb clause, first you know it's a clause because you have a period here. You have two verbs. When you have two verbs, you have two clauses. You have a comma. That helps. And here's your signal word, because. So the Pompeians were not entering the shops because the shops were closed. This explains, this entire clause, because the shops were closed, explains why they were non-intrabant. So remember, adverbs give reason. Okay, postquam gladiatores Pompeianos salutaverunt Pompeiani pauserunt. Two verbs. So two clauses, but one sentence. No conjunctions. And we also have a signal word after the gladiators greeted the Pompeians. This entire clause describes when. So remember, the purpose of adverbs is also to signify when. Where's the clause? That's right. You have two verbs, two clauses, one sentence, no conjunction, and you have the signal word because. Explains why the spectators were urging on the Myrmidons, because the Myrmidons were often victorious. My dog is big. No noun adjective agreement. Help you see this clearly. So we have is. What is? The dog. Okay, so we're dealing with a nominative. We need a nominative. And it would probably be canis. Canis isn't neuter, so it's obviously magnus. All right, well, this is all you need to worry about for grammar for the lecture. Review, make sure you put your notes in, highlight your forms, have a question, and 60% passing on the grammar e-lecture can take up to 9 times, but you want to go for bonus. And I'll see you tomorrow.